Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Elmo,
I'm Tuna.
and this week we're going to be talking about the games in Gameweek 11. So, 8 o'clock on Monday, we had Brighton 1, Southampton 2.
Yeah, Pascal Gross penalty, opening scoring before Vestergaard equalised, and a late Danny Ings penalty, settling things. So the story, two penalties really this game.
Yeah, nothing controversial, no VAR, no
No, why would
dodgy
VAR get involved in
decisions.
anything? VAR's perfect. It does absolutely nothing wrong. We totally haven't had a cease and desist letter about complaining about VAR.
So, the first goal, Gross, definite penalty. Who was it? It was Ward
Ward
Prowse.
Prowse.
Who had his hand up here and kind of balanced it for a few seconds.
I think he thought he were doing a tip off for the NBA.
I mean,
Yeah,
there's no arguments about that. I mean, you have your hand in your arms in natural positions, fair enough. But if that's your natural position, then I'd go and see like a
yeah.
doctor.
Yeah, a couple of years ago, then debatable, but they've removed the word deliberate now out of the laws of the game, and yeah, it's extending your body. Didn't know much about it, but it has to be given.
Yeah, decent penalty as well.
Yeah, there were a couple of Southampton players complaining, I believe, because he stopped during the run up, but the laws are that if you stop right as you reach the ball, then it has to be retaken, not right at the start of your run up. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I think they just felt aggrieved anyway about the penalty. And Brighton looked decent for quite a lot of this game. Even before that, Danny Welbeck had a pretty big chance. Which I think he failed to get proper contact on. A goalkeeper saved it relatively easy.
mm.
But you just can't write Southampton off this season, especially not at the moment. And Vestergaard getting them back into right on the stroke of half time with a fantastic header.
Yeah, powerful header as
We've
well.
seen quite a few good headers this weekend, and nice powerful looping header. No keeper in the world is saving that.
Yes, corner came in and he just got above all the other defenders. He's quite tall, but I can't remember who it was, but the defender that was trying to mark him, but just there was no way that he was going to jump his height. I don't think he could jump his height if Vestergaard had stood still. But yeah, that made it interesting because that went 45th minute, so going into half time 1-1.
Yeah,
Both
and I think the
teams
game
look quite
changer.
well.
So I think the game changer was Danny Ings coming on at half time
Yeah,
and definitely swung it more in Southampton's favour. But yeah, as you say, both teams did look well.
Walcott had
Which
a couple of decent chances.
I think that's a broken record now of Brighton into this season.
Yeah, I feel so sorry for him. I really do. I actually had this one as a 2-1, but the opposite way. I had Brighton to win 2-1. Um,
Yeah, and I went for a 1-1 draw. So yeah, cheers.
which
That
it
name we won't
nearly
mention.
was. So 2-1, Danny Ings penalty. Was it a penalty?
It's there's no obvious conclusive evidence at all. I think it was Solly March brought down Kyle Walker Peters on the edge, just outside. Referee originally gave a free kick. VAR reviewed it, and you just can't tell where contact was. It
So
reminds me of the Man United one, where there's no obvious that the ball has gone out.
yeah,
So
do you think it was a foul then?
I think it was a foul. I think he's come across him, clipped him, tripped him. I personally think it was just outside the area where the first contact was.
So I agree with you there. It was outside the box. I just don't think it was. I think it was a soft foul. I think it was just because it was a normal shoulder barge that you'd see across the entire pitch, the rest of the pitch, and it'd been just a normal thing. But the difference was it it just come off the ground. It jumped off the ground. Both feet was off the ground. So as the shoulder barge come in, it it's very easy to lose control. So I think it was a little bit harsh, but it definitely wasn't a penalty. Like you say, I think the first contact was outside the box, which meant it was a free kick. The VAR
And
did review it and didn't. I'm not sure if they asked the referee to or not, but the referee didn't actually go and review it himself. He listened
no,
to VAR.
they've come out and said it wasn't sent to the monitor because it was a factual decision whether it was in or out. So it was like
Okay.
offside, so they wouldn't send the referee over for that. But there's just no obvious that he was inside the area, so you don't overturn if there's no obvious issue. You've got to go with referee's on-field decision there.
Yeah.
And I personally think Brighton could be very much aggrieved about this.
Yeah, definitely.
Potter didn't particularly, criticise it too much. Again, I think he was trying to avoid getting told off. Just said it didn't seem clear and obvious. Hasselhout for Southampton said it was clearly inside the area, so, I want his eyesight clearly fantastic. Although he didn't see the penalty against him, conveniently, so we've
Yeah,
got a new Wenger here.
yeah, one of those. Good penalty though from Danny Ings. You kind of expect it. He's
Yeah,
been
and
out for
massive for him.
a few weeks,
I
hasn't
say
it?
massive to come back with a goal. Yeah, I think he's had a hamstring injury. And it was his first game back. Obviously, they wouldn't have wanted to have to introduce him off the bench, but he did come on and made a change. And I mean, Southampton are obviously in a good place at the moment. We're fifth in the table. Danny
Yeah.
Ings back
So
scoring.
so that win put them fifth. Previously occupied by Man United. The currently on 20 points, so 4 points off top, which it's not normally a place that you'd see with Southampton, but Southampton have played well. They've got some decent results. They've been playing well. Like I say, Danny Ings has been playing well. They just seem to have the fire back. James Ward-Prowse, some of his goals as well this season. Uh,
Yeah,
so
obviously gave away the penalty, but then responded by assisting the first goal. So
So yeah, it's looking good for Southampton. Brighton, we've said it many times. They look good, even though they keep losing. They look good, but they're currently down in 16th with 10 points. Just one win and three draws in the last 6 games.
yeah, I think they perhaps have to look at getting in a clinical finisher potentially in January because that is what they're struggling with. There's only 3 teams that had scored less than them before kick-off this season in the Premier League. Sheffield United and Burnley, 2 of them, which obviously they're really struggling.
Mm,
Manchester United being the other one. Less goals at home, I should add. But they're also struggling at the back when it comes to set pieces. There's only Leicester that conceded more from set pieces, not including penalties, than Brighton. So they just need to, sort of put the ball in the back of the net a bit and try and not give away corners is their biggest issue.
I think that's it. I mean, we've mentioned a few of their players that have stood out. Lamptey and Solly March, are just two of them that we've mentioned a few times have had good games and good goals, and they have got a decent team and they do play well. They're just missing, like you say, just the defence and the goals. I hope they stop up. I really do. They the good thing is there's teams worse than them.
Yes.
We've said that about a couple of teams so far this season, but um, 4 points off of relegation. So it's going to be tough over the next couple of weeks over Christmas. It's going to be tough for everybody, but these teams down at the bottom, this is where they need to try and pick up some points and hopefully get some clear space between them and relegation zone going into the new year.
Yeah, I mean, they've got 2 massive games coming up. They've got Fulham and then Sheffield United back to back in a couple of weeks' time. So they're games that they'll be definitely looking at that they need to pick up 6 points.
Mm,
Especially if they lose both of them, then they're in big trouble.
yeah,
They're going to get sucked in very quickly. But yeah, I think they've got enough to stay up and move up the table as well. I can't see it lasting. I mean, we've basically said this every week so far, and we'll probably say it until the final week of the season. So I don't know. They do seem to be creating a lot. There's just something missing. and Graham Potter needs to figure that out. Like I
Yeah,
say, perhaps a bit harsh to not take a point from this game.
I think the thing is as well, the later in the season that you actually kick on and start getting points, sometimes it's just too late. So yeah, like you say,
Um,
the next couple of weeks, this is where they try and need to get some points and try and get that space, and hopefully the other teams below them don't get as many points as well.
yeah, obviously on the flip side, Southampton will be looking up the table. Relatively easy month for them coming up. The only standout game being against Manchester City, and well, that'd be a massive result if they could beat City. Not
Yeah,
just because it's City, but obviously where the teams are in the table at the moment as well.
yeah,
And like I say, Danning's back fit and firing for Southampton. He's going to be a massive boost for them. And
def-
one of a couple of teams we don't expect to be where they are. So
yeah. I mean, they're currently in the Europa League position. Um, been, have they ever been in the Europa League?
not that I can think of off the top of my head.
No. So yeah, it'll definitely be interesting with how this season's gone so far. If we have got some teams that you don't expect to see in European competitions, see how they do. It'll be big for them, obviously, money wise and the experience in that. So, and just being able
Yeah,
to attract bigger players as well.
I mean, I'm just looking at our predictions at the moment. You had them down in 12th at the start of the season. I had them 10th. And in terms of our actual game predictions, we've both got them in 11th so far this season. So I think they're a team that we're definitely underestimating.
Yeah, but like we said about Everton and Villa, is it something that's just happening for a period and then just dies off and then they start having bad runs? There's always that fear. The teams that are usually in the top five, six, they're usually up there for a reason. It's usually because they've been doing this year in year out, where they have been fighting for the top positions. Southampton's not used to it. Tottenham kind of they've struggled a couple of years and battling towards the end of the season to keep that run all season. So it'll be interesting to see if they stay up there. Decent team. They've always been Man United's bogey team for years, and going back with
Yeah,
Matt Letitia.
I think their biggest issue is holding on to leads against the bigger teams. Obviously, last week they dropped the 2-goal lead against Manchester United. Tottenham earlier this season they went ahead and ended up losing 5-2.
Mm.
So they're the two big results that they're perhaps thinking, well, we could have taken something from there. In fact, that's 2 of their 3 defeats.
And it's good that they
Um,
stopped being a feeder club for Liverpool as well. You've kind of
I
left
mean,
them alone.
if they carry on like this, then who knows how long that'll last.
Get Danny Ings back.
And current form, I'd love to have him back.
Yeah, because you haven't got enough strikers.
No, I mean we've got no players at the moment, so. But one player I would love to see at not necessarily Liverpool, but a big team, Tariq Lamptey from Brighton, who obviously returned from a suspension in this game and had another pretty good game.
Mm.
And again, you think that we talk about teams that are relying on one player. He perhaps is that one player for Brighton, but he's just not in the attacking position like a lot of other teams are, or doesn't, score as many as other teams do. And that probably is where Brighton are struggling. Because while Danny Welbeck's had a decent run, he's not someone you're going to back to score week in, week out.
No, I
Like
mean,
Ings, Vardy.
history kind of tells you about Welbeck. He's not been consistent enough. Yeah, like you say with Lamptey, it'll be interesting to see if he's still there next season because the more he stands out in a team like Brighton, whether they stop up or not, it'll definitely be interesting to see him in another club, and seeing what he can do with a few better players around him. That'll definitely be interesting. Definitely one to watch. Thanks for watching our videos. Hope you've enjoyed them. Please subscribe if you want to watch the rest of our season, where we'll be bringing you all the matches, our predictions, and plenty of other things surrounded around football. please follow us on our socials. They're all down below as well. We've got our own YouTube channels as well. Please go and check them out. Plenty of different kind of content across all them as well. I've been Elmo.
I've been Tuna.
Take care.